The compact sedan segment in India is undergoing an influx of fresher models with the Skoda Slavia and the hybrid version of the Honda City taking the fight straight to the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz and the Hyundai Verna. Volkswagen now has brought in their placement to the Vento, and yes, it looks absolutely gorgeous.
In the day and age of SUVs of all shapes and sizes, suddenly sedans and more specifically compact sedans are starting to make some noise.
And today with us is the Volkswagen Virtus, and this comes in a 1-litre engine and a 1.5 TSI petrol engine.
And today we're driving both these cars, the 1.5 TSI with a DSG gearbox and the 1-litre with a 6-speed torque converter.
And there's lots to talk about, but before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we go live with a new automotive content.
The Virtus is without doubt a sporty looking car. The single slat grille with chrome surrounds, LED headlamps, L-shaped LED DRLs all come together quite nicely. And it even reminds you so much of the Jetta.
So generous use of chrome on both these cars, be it on the profile or on the face. But there's enough to help you differentiate between the 1-litre and the 1.5-litre versions of the Volkswagen Virtus. For starters, you have this GT badge on the grille. You have a badge on the profile as well as on the rear. So that is different. And of course, the big change is the alloy wheels. They're both 16 inches, but here you get black color wheels. Here, they're different. And then there's the body color. Here you get a dual tone option with a black roof and black mirrors. Here it's all monotone. And then on the rear, on the 1.5, you get a spoiler as well.
The wild cherry red and the carbon steel grey paint schemes on our test vehicles look gorgeous and accentuates its best-in-class length as well as width. The white air dams and the fog lamp housing looks edgy, while the sloping roofline and the stout character line adds to its overall road presence. Gentle splash of chrome on door handles, contrast black on ORVMs and roof, wraparound LED taillights, Virtus lettering on the boot lid, and the boot-mounted number plate recess rounds up the rest of the sporty design. It's based on the same platform as the Skoda Slavia, and there's a lot that both cars have in common, but really, the Virtus just looks a class apart.
Now, the cabin of the Virtus is extremely spacious. It is premium. The quality, the material that are used inside is extremely premium. But the first thing that you would notice in this, the 1.5 GT line, would be the red highlights that you get on the dashboard. But this is only specific to this wild cherry red color. Apart from that, most of the elements are same with this one and the 1-litre, but only for the top spec trim. So that includes this 10.1-inch touchscreen infotainment. You also get automatic climate control, and the feature that you get for the top spec is the ventilated seats for the front passengers. Apart from this, you also get an entirely digital instrument panel, but that also is exclusive to the top spec. Apart from that, you also get electric sunroof, which again is only limited to the top spec variant.
Like the Taygun, the Virtus's dynamic line will come in 3 trims: Comfort Line, High Line, Top Line, and a single spec Performance Line. However, it is worth mentioning most of these features are limited to the top spec. Nevertheless, the cabin is possibly one of the best in the segment with plush leather. Wireless connectivity for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as charging are few tricks that the Virtus has up its sleeve. But then again, it is limited to the higher trims. With respect to the dimensions, the Virtus is the longest and the widest in the segment, but does that translate to more space for the second row passengers?
The second row of the Virtus is quite good on space. I like it. There's decent amount of headroom and there's good knee room as well. Under thigh support also is not bad. So I like the feeling of being here on the second row. The seats are quite comfortable. You also get a center armrest here, AC vents for the second row passengers, and 2 Type-C charging ports. Seating 3 passengers here could be a bit of a squeeze, but yes, all 3 passengers do get 3-point seat belts and adjustable headrests.
If you plan for a weekend getaway, then the class-leading 521 liters of boot space should be adequate for the family's luggage. and it can even be further expanded to 1050 liters with the second row seats split into 60-40. It's now time to get behind the wheel. We have both 1 litre and the 1.5 litre petrol versions in its automatic avatars. First up is the lower displacement turbo engine.
Now we've seen this 1 litre power plant before on the Volkswagen Tiguan as well as on the Kushaq and the Skoda Slavia. It punches out 114 brake horsepower and a healthy 178 Newton meters of peak torque. More importantly, the torque kicks in between 1750 to 1800 RPM and stays with us till you reach 4500 RPM. Apart from that, when you consider the NVH level, since this is a 3-pot system, the NVH level is very low, you don't get any hard vibrations, and this only adds to the overall driving experience of the Virtus. Our initial impression of driving the 1 litre Virtus is that the engine is performing at its optimum between the 1800 to 1900 RPM, and that's when it really engages and becomes fun to drive. Apart from that, the lower rev band is also not that bad. It offers a decent punch even though the turbo hasn't started spooling. The engine noise that you hear is like music to our ears, and it is rev happy. The in-gear acceleration is peppy, and even if you put the Virtus under intense duress, it does not run out of breath. Same goes for the highway drive. It manages to reach the triple digits quite easily and stays on it quite comfortably and wants to stay on it as long as possible. The unit that we are driving gets a 6-speed torque converter, and it really doesn't slouch and offers quick and smooth transitions. You also get paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, and we don't really have anything to complain about it. For quick runnings though, what you can do is put the gear into the sport mode, and what you can also do is use the paddle shifters for up and down shifts, or you can also use the gear ratios that you get on the lever.
Things are different on the Virtus with the larger displacement. It is offered with a single 7-speed DSG box with ample power on tap, and claims to be the most powerful sedan in the segment.
Now, of course, if you love to drive and are willing to spend some extra cash, then this is the version you should be choosing, the 1.5 TSI. And Volkswagen has done things differently here, so there's no manual version on offer. Unlike the 1 litre version, you only get the 7-speed DSG. And the figures also are quite good, so you get a maximum power of 148 bhp, 250 Nm of peak torque that kicks in quite early. So this combination of a powerful engine with a DSG gearbox is something that you will love when you're driving this car. Plus you also have the sport mode, and you can also take things in greater control by switching to the manual mode. And of course you also have paddle shifters. So many different ways to play with in the 1.5 TSI Volkswagen Virtus.
Volkswagen also claims a healthy return on the 1 litre versions with 19.40 kmpl on the manual and 18.12 km per litre to the automatic, while the 1.5 litre returns 18.67 km to the litre. And a lot has been done to achieve that figure according to Volkswagen. One being the cylinder deactivation technology, which we've even seen on the Tiguan, and then there's the engine start-stop function, which also helps push the efficiency higher. As the Virtus is based on the group's MQB A0iN platform, the company says that the suspension is tuned to tackle the bad roads typical of India, and we even got to test it quite extensively.
Both the 1 litre and the 1.5 litre power plants sit on the same 16-inch alloy wheels, and it offers ample damping to smoothen things out. Even on undulated roads that we've encountered, the car was stable and we did not even feel any jerks. We are also happy to report that the ride quality on the Virtus is quite impressive, and there's absolutely nothing to complain about. The highway stability is well balanced and it maintains its composure even when you're doing higher speeds. And never do you feel uncomfortable, or the ride never feels or gives you an impression that it is unnerving. The stiffer suspension also helps and it handles itself very smooth around the corners. The light steering is comfortable for city and it also stiffens up, it weighs up well enough once you hit the ground running.
Safety is paramount for Volkswagen, and the Virtus brings tons of safety features, with the company even going on a limb to claim it to be one of the safest cars in the segment.
Now, safety is something that you can expect Volkswagen to work with all sincerity in their cars, and that is what they've done with the Virtus as well. Over 40 safety features this car comes with. The highlight, of course, is as many as 6 airbags. Plus, you also get multi-collision brakes as well as tire pressure deflatation warning, something that always comes to your rescue in Indian road conditions.
Additionally, you also get electronic stability control, park distance control, and a rear view camera to make parking in tight spots easier. While the ISOFIX child seat anchorage is an added layer of protection. For ease of convenience, you also get Volkswagen Connect with numerous features to stay connected. With all parameters covered, it all boils down to the pricing, and while Volkswagen will announce it on June 9, it should be interesting to see how the company stacks it up against the likes of Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, Hyundai Verna, its sibling Skoda Slavia, and the Honda City, which is now offered with a hybrid powertrain. But going by Volkswagen's strategy to pitch the Virtus as a premium offering, it could be slightly on the expensive side, and so we expect the sedan to be priced between 10,49,000 rupees and going up to 18 lakh rupees ex-showroom India, since this strategy has worked really well for Volkswagen with the Taygun. And we have little doubt over VW's commitment about the Indian market, and with a car like the Virtus that is high on looks, features and 2 powerful petrol engines, Volkswagen might just hit it out of the park with the pricing, but for now, we can only wait.